This month on Great Day at 9A, we are starting weekly segments that are geared towards all of you parents out there. And these are in conjunction with my podcast, Mommyhood Unscripted.
Which is really good.
I'm really excited about this. Our next guest is no stranger to the podcast, and she gives us a little sneak peek into a very valuable conversation.
Yeah, there's a new movement tackling the gender stereotypes children face, even narrow color opinions like pink or blue for boys and girls. This movement is called Think or Blue. Very clever. I love it. And it seeks a rainbow of options for children's books, toys, and clothes.
That's right. Catherine Bailey, the founder of Think or Blue, joined us now. Hey, Catherine.
Hello. Thanks so much for having me, especially on your birthday.
Yeah, right? Where'd you get the name? I love it.
Yeah, it's a play on the words pink or blue, which is so common. We hear that even before the birth of a child.
Right.
And I thought, let's think for a minute before we jump to those pink or blue assumptions.
Right. Yeah, because it is that stereotype, right? Oh, you're having a girl, you got to get all pink things.
Exactly.
But it doesn't mean girls don't have to just wear pink.
Right, and actually those colors are kind of arbitrary. In the early 1900s, pink was considered a boy's color.
Seriously?
Because it was considered strong. And they said blue is softer, it should be for girls. This was a direction from department stores in like the 1918 or something like that.
Wow.
So it's a bit arbitrary. This pink or blue phenomenon is really only the last 30 to 40 years it's become so popular.
So, unbiased. We have unbiased. I walked into the department store to get her daughter a gift.
Yeah.
I immediately went to the pink section.
Of course, and you'll just see pink after pink onesie lined up. And these pink and blue, they're not just colors anymore, they're sort of instructions for children. So children learn early. Pink means that I'm supposed to be sweet and polite and good-natured and caring for other people. And children learn early that blue means I should be active and rough and tumble and powerful and strong. You can even hear it in my voice, the tone changes as we talk about pink and blue.
It's really amazing.
It's all unconscious, right? It's embedded from generation after generation in our head, and which it's hard to uncrack that. You know, it's so hard to transition from something that how we were raised, right?
It is. It's very unconscious. And that's why I tell adults, like, don't feel bad about it. You don't have to feel shame or guilt for having these unconscious gender stereotypes. We all have bias. And it's just about undoing it for the next generation. Because it's very subtle. Even the way we talk to children, we use more words with girls. We use more feeling words with girls. Whereas with boys, we speak less to them and we use more spatial talk.
Let's play devil's advocate here. I got a baby on the way. I'm going to paint my nursery pink, and I know it's a boy. The societal pressure of that alone just makes me wig. It just makes me, you know, like my parents, everybody, like, what are you doing? You're going to ruin that kid.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. A lot of why we fall to these gender expectations is because of those around us. They have expectations, too, for how our children should be. And they get very nervous about your boy might be teased if he's wearing pink or wearing a dress, right? And so we sort of cave to these cultural expectations and don't necessarily let our children be the full, complicated human beings that they are.
Remember like 20 years ago, you heard a lot about real men wear pink.
Yep.
Do you remember that campaign? I loved that because why can't we wear any color that we want? We should have the freedom to choose what we want to wear and what we want to look like, and you know.
Absolutely, and I think there's along those lines, there's a growing recognition that the masculinity norms we've created are just too narrow and constricting. You know, that men should be stoic and unfeeling. That's just not helpful for anyone.
So
let's do better for our boys. Right, I'm sure you experienced it too.
Pink. My mother said, if you bring pink into the house, I'll ruin it in the laundry.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
And
there you have it. There you have it.
She's changed over the years, but it took a little time because she was ingrained, she was taught, pink is girls, blue is boys.
Absolutely.
So,
and we...
Oh, I was going to say, what are some ways that we as adults can, you know, overcome this hidden bias, if you will, that it seems that we all kind of have rooted inside us?
Absolutely. Well, I have a few tips, a couple easy ones and a couple more challenging ones. What do you want to hear first?
We only have about 30 seconds.
Okay. So easy ones, fill your children's bookshelves with lots of diverse books, people who don't look like them, right? Encourage mixed gender play with your kids. It's so good for them. And try to avoid saying, oh, is that your little girlfriend or your little boyfriend? Because you don't know what they're going to be like when they're adults, and that just makes them feel weird. And then just check in with your own bias. One of the harder ones is to think about how you were raised as a child. And gee, like, what were the expectations that were put on me when I was younger, and how is that impacting me today?
Cool. Well, you got to come back.
Absolutely. We could talk for hours.
We could talk for hours. That's why we got this podcast.
Yes, yeah. Well, if you do want to learn more about Think or Blue, head to their website you see on your screen, thinkorblue.com, or you can check it out on their social media accounts, Think or Blue, and also Catherine has some viral videos on TikTok
Look
as well.
at you in this picture. I love it. All right, and to listen more to this conversation, check out Nicole's podcast, Mommyhood Unscripted. It's available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever else you listen to your podcasts. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you,
Thank you both for
Catherine.
having me.